My name's Helen. I'm one of the children's church leaders here at Abbey, and I am really excited about Christmas this year. I peaked. I put my decorations up on the 24th of November. My colleague over here can attest that I've been wearing exclusively Christmas-based earrings to work, and my wardrobe looks a little bit like a glitter bomb has gone off inside it. I'm not quite saying I'm a Powell yet, okay, but I'm learning, I'm getting there. And this year, I feel such a sense of joy about Christmas. If I'm really honest, that's not always how I feel. When I look back to last year, actually I felt overwhelmed at the season rather than joy. But every year, regardless of how the busyness and the logistics of the season make me feel, on Christmas morning when I come to church, I feel absolute delight, awe and wonder at celebrating the arrival of the King, Jesus, with my church family. One of my favourite hymns, the one we sang first, says this: "Joy to the world, the Lord is come, let earth receive her King." Now in church, we often use the terms Jesus, King and Lord quite interchangeably. In fact, we've got many, many names that we use for Jesus, which you'll have had a clue about in some of the songs we sang. We also refer to him as the Lion, the Lamb, Emmanuel, the Alpha and the Omega, Messiah, the Word, the Prince of Peace, the Good Shepherd, and that's just naming a few. It's almost like we know that our human language can't do the wonder of Jesus justice, but we still want to give it a go. So we adorn him with many names. I'm lucky to work in a nursery, and I love the children I work with, and I rarely use their real names. Rather, me and my colleagues often favour nicknames like Poppet, Sweetheart, Darling, and the one that's all of our favourites is Yes, My Friend. And it's our way of communicating to the children that they are loved and adored, and we do that in church with Jesus. In the last book of the Bible, Revelation, it says this: "On his robe, he has a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords." So when we're referring to Jesus, the use of these various names expresses the full sovereignty and power that we believe Jesus has, as well as our all-consuming love for him. There has never been, nor will there ever be, anyone above Jesus. So fast forward to 2024, and now we have an earthly king. My son asked me earlier, when he listened to me practice this, whether anyone in the congregation was alive when the last king reigned. And I assured him that I think there was. So if you were alive, please grab Caleb later and fill him in. So now we've got an earthly king, King Charles. And now we've got an earthly king, it's given us a taste of just how a king should arrive. So we're going to have a quick look at the screen. Sorry, Rachel, I should give you a bit more notice. Wow, that is how a king arrives in style. Am I right? Trumpets, fanfare, everyone had to stand up. It's so clearly communicated in that clip just who the most important person in that room was. I did think about suggesting to my husband that that is how I would like to arrive home from work every day, but I felt quite sure he wasn't going to be on board. So if that's how an earthly king arrives, goodness me, how much more fanfare must there have been for the arrival of the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the man who brought and still brings hope and peace to millions and millions of people across the globe. The man who shapes our lives, our calendars, our festivals. The one we have countless names for. Surely he arrived with an almighty bang, a huge party Bethlehem style. But here's the thing about Jesus. He was and is no ordinary king. Jesus is different. His upside-down kingdom turns everything we think we know on its head. In Jesus' kingdom, the marginalised are welcomed. In his kingdom, the lonely are cherished. In his kingdom, the poor are blessed and the captives are freed. Jesus lived differently. Born into a poor family, he chose a life of servitude, spurning the powerful religious teachers of the day in favour of those on the outskirts of society, and eventually sacrificing his very life for us on the cross. Imagine that. Jesus, who has no one above him, dying for us mere humans. So really, it should come to no surprise that Jesus also arrived differently. He was born to an unassuming girl, a girl with absolutely zero social clout. He arrived quietly as the most vulnerable thing he could, a helpless baby. This was God with skin on, Emmanuel, God with us, in the form of a human called Jesus. God placing himself smack bang in the midst of our messy human world. God didn't choose the wife of a powerful ruler to bear Jesus, someone who could train him in the ways of ruling with absolute authority and teach him how to truly claim his title as the King of Kings. No, instead he chose Mary. Jesus didn't arrive to huge fanfare like we saw there, to crowds of people standing in his honour, to rapturous applause. He arrived with true humility, a godly trait, that characterised the rest of his life. When you read about him in the Bible, you come to realise Jesus' true power has always been in his humility. So this Christmas season, I'm hoping to become just a little bit more like King Jesus, to live a different kind of life, just like he did, to be part of bringing his upside-down kingdom to the earth and see it change lives. At Abbey, where we sing a song with these lyrics, it says, "Break my heart for what breaks yours, everything I am for your kingdom's cause." Now that's a huge prayer, and it's an even bigger calling. But just imagine if we all saw the world through Jesus' eyes. Imagine if God ignited a passion within us to continue the social justice that defined Jesus' life, continue his mission of power through love, compassion and humility. Imagine what this could mean for the transformation of our world. I'm going to pray, and then I'm going to hand over to the band for the final carol. Thank you, King Jesus, for showing us how to live with humility, compassion and love. Help us to become more like you every day. Break our hearts for what breaks yours, and empower us to make changes in this world in your name.